Oh my gosh, it's so nice to have a phone that works. Alright, I'm just leaving my place. But yeah, it's so nice. I put oil in the car yesterday, right? And James is like, don't put oil in the car because you don't know how much oil it actually needs. If you put too much oil in, it's gonna damage the car. Well, my car is riding pretty rough, and I know it needs oil, so I put oil in it. And I don't have the dipstick. I'm thinking about pushing the dipstick all the way down and using the grab it tool to grab it out, because that's the only way I can physically see of like getting this Pet Boys mess up fixed, because I don't really want to give it to someone to fix it, and I need it fixed. So my idea is probably next weekend I'm probably gonna push the entire thing down into it, because this weekend I really don't have time to. I have a play date today. I have a tuber concert that we're going to today. We're going out to eat right now. So our day is stacked. And I'm actually going to have Felicia help me finish up Karina's room, because Karina's room is not finished yet. She has, maybe making noise in the back. She has a bunch of posters that we need to put up. We are doing swimmingly today, actually. I cleaned up the house a little bit because I have company coming over, and I have a bunch of laundry that needs to be folded. It's all clean, it's just not all put away yet. And I was like trying to find more hangers, and instead of finding more hangers, I'm just gonna start going through my clothes, trying everything on, and whatever I don't like, doesn't fit well, is going to be donated for other families that need them. It's easier to get rid of my clothes than anyone else's clothes, because James likes all of his clothes, and Karina's clothes are all adorable, and they all fit her, or else they're going to fit her. So like, I don't really have too much to give away right now of Karina's, and I just gave away all of her 2T stuff to my old neighbors and friends. Well, friends and old neighbors, still friends. And then I realized after I gave away her 2T stuff this year that she probably would have fit into a lot of the 2T stuff still. Because last year she was really going into 3T instead of 2T, but she wasn't as mobile and active last year as she is this year. So she's lost a little bit of weight, she's a little bit slimmer, a little bit taller, and she would have actually fit into a lot of that 2T stuff I gave away. Right now, though, she fits really, really well into all the 3T. She was in 3T last year, too. So, my kid's just, I guess, lingering in that 3T, 4T area, because she wears a lot of 4T as well. And she even fits into some of her 5T stuff. I just don't really put her in the 5T because I want her to wait. Ooh, I hit a little bump. Until she's a little bit bigger to put her in the 5T stuff. She has up to 7T right now, or just size 7 right now, not even toddler, just, size 7. I'm trying to get her more 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I want to have up to size 10 for her, so this way we're all ready to go with all the seasons and stuff like that. We don't have a lot of money, so, free mommy markets and stuff like that help prepare us, like me and all my friends, for our kids' growth spurts. And it's awesome because it is free. Same thing with, my clothes and James's clothes. We don't pay all that much for them. Even when I say I'm going out to eat, I'm not spending money to eat. I'm driving to the place to sit down and eat and then move on with our day. So, I'm not spending money on much of anything because we don't have any money. So, like, our budget right now is free. So if it's a free event, we are there. Like, I told James the other day, I'm like, you couldn't even imagine how many things I would take our child to if I had actual physical dollars, and he's like, oh, trust me, I know, because, we don't have any money right now, but every single event that, comes up that's free, we go to, because she's young and everything's exciting to her, and she has fun at everything. Like, her face during that tree light up thing that James didn't want to go to, like, he bounced back and forth with it. He's like, yeah, I'll go. And he's like, no, I don't want to go. He's like, that's stupid. He's like, why would someone... Ooh. I love this giveaway box here. There's always stuff at it. We're going to check that out later if there's still stuff at it. There's probably going to be someone else that stops before me, because I'm not going to be back until nighttime. Later on in the afternoon-ish to go check it. But we're going to go check at that. at that giveaway spot. Anything that's on the outside of the bins is up for grabs. So that's what I see. And I've never once gotten in trouble for taking stuff from the outside of the bins. I don't climb into the bins. That's probably illegal. I'm not really sure. I know that it's not illegal to be on your phone around here or anything else like that, but I think it is illegal to actually go into the giveaway bins themselves. But if it's on public property, it's fair game. So, and a lot of people do treasure hunt there. So a lot of people treasure hunt everywhere. Like, we put out a washer and dryer the other day, and James is like, oh, no one's going to take that. I'm like, trust me, someone's going to drive by and be like, ooh, look at that money sitting there. Because that's money, that's scrap. And it's not scrap, then it's a washer and dryer for someone who needs it, So, and the next day, that washer and dryer was gone. Hear my baby singing in the background. She's singing. She's animals. And so I was just like, see? So, everyone does this. It's just not everyone's open about doing stuff like this. And people who have more money probably don't do stuff like this. But I mean, this is how I was brought up. I was brought up to make every dollar stretch, make every dollar last. I make every dollar work as hard for you as you are working for it. And even though I don't work outside the home, those dollars have to work for us. Because we are working really, really hard for those dollar bills. And we owe too much money to student loans to not have every dollar work for us and work in our benefit. If we didn't have those student loans, we'd be golden. We wouldn't be struggling. But I mean, we owe too much money every month to those student loans, and then we owe too much overall to the student loans to really do it on our own without without treasure hunting, without using our resources wisely, stuff like that. So I mean, anyone can make it. It's just knowing your resources and knowing where everything is at. So, because it's set up so that everyone has a chance to succeed, even if you're not, wealthy with dollars. I think it's better to be wealthy with life than to be wealthy with dollars anyway. Because if you're just sitting at a desk all day, every day, and even my counselors, there are people who work outside the home, and they work 80 hours a week. But I mean, they're just putting their kids to bed and waking them up and shipping them off to, a daycare center to have them be raised by someone else. And she's even like, that kid wasn't born to be raised by someone else. I was talking to Eva the other day. We have the same counselor. And she's like, she was telling her husband that, your kids aren't going to see the dollars and the hours that you work. They're going to be like, where were you? And I'm like, thank you, Phyllis. I love Phyllis. She's my counselor, and she's an awesome woman, and she's old world. I'm old world. She's old world. So we get each other. We really do. We get each other. I mean, she's had her kids, and she was dirt poor while raising them, more than likely. I mean, we don't really talk about her financial situation when she had kids. But I mean, she'd call her husband sometimes and be like, I just need you to come home now. She's like, I am done with these kids, And it was funny when she said that. But, I love my counselor because we get each other. Even James... I'm stopped at a red. We get each other. He thought that me stopping working before I had children would be a bad idea because he's like, you'll be so bored at the house. And I'm like, you don't understand. I have to go deeper into what I'm doing, the cooking, the cleaning. I have to go deeper and find out, what's my niches. I need to find out what I like and what I don't. I wanted to learn how to do everything from scratch. I wanted to learn how to knit and how to sew. I wanted to learn all that stuff before I had kids. I wanted to learn how to be the excellent shopper 3 months at a time, stuff like that. You don't need to go to the store all the time. If you're going to the store every week or every day, you're spending too much money. If you're going to a real store and spending physical dollars, it's not a good thing to do. But, I needed time to develop my skills. And he's like, oh, you're not going to like it. He's like, I thought I'd like staying home. I'm like, you're a man, though. He would borrow my card. We'd go to a Wendy's, and he'd borrow my card for, the dollar menu stuff, and he'd, pretend to pay for it, because he was embarrassed that I was the one that was making all the money, and that he was, living with me, and, doing his thing, but he was going to school. There's no shame in that. So it's just different. Men and women are completely different. the way that we see things, the way that we view things, the way that we do things, it's completely different. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But James never would have had children with me if I decided I wanted to work outside the home while having children. We both had that upbringing, and neither one of us liked it. So, I guess it's experience-based, because it is experience-based. But, if we had a different upbringing, I guess, or if things turned out differently during our childhoods, maybe we'd feel differently about it, but they didn't. They didn't. I could never imagine having a child and not raising her, and not being the one to bring her to her activities, to nurse her. I wouldn't want to hire a wet nurse, because there's no way I'm giving my child formula. There's nothing wrong with it for other kids and other people. But for my children, absolutely not. And, James was there when the midwife was there. And, he was like, well, she's determined to nurse. And the midwife's like, if she's determined to nurse, then she'll nurse. No doubt about it. And that was awesome. It was awesome for him to be, reassured with nursing, because at first he was like, well, how do we know how much the baby's getting? And the nurse is like, don't worry about it. Trust me, your wife has it. And I was like, James, I could feel the milk coming out of me. Could I? No. But did that matter? No. I needed to reassure him, because I was already confident in myself. I knew I had colostrum. I knew I was fine. I knew my baby was going to be fine. But him, he wasn't so sure. He was brought up with formula. He didn't like nursing for the first year. It took me a year to get used to it. And now he's perfect. He's supportive. He's nice about it. He's perfect, And we both get each other. We don't always get along the best. And sometimes we're trying to communicate the same thing to each other, so it sounds like we're fighting, but we're not. But yeah, we don't always get on the best, because sometimes our viewpoint's different, or we want something different from each other, or, he has an idea of what I should like, and I have an idea of what he should like, and it just doesn't match up because he's a man and I'm a woman. It's not going to match up. It's not going to be the same, and that's no big deal. Also, he doesn't understand that he thinks that he earned all these points for going to work, and I'm like, you earned 1 point for going to work. You won 1 point for coming home, and, stuff like that. So it's just, and everyone has a point system, even if you think that you don't. So for the longest time, I didn't think I did. But I'm like, why am I angry with this man who I feel like is doing nothing? It's because I feel like he's doing nothing. And he feels like, oh, well, if she's still doing stuff for me, I must be doing everything right. It's just we think differently, and that's okay. So it's just the way that it is. But, yeah, anyway, we're going out to eat. And after that, we're going to go to see the tuba concert. And after that, we're going to go home and we're going to do a play date. My baby is now crying in the back seat. Ouch. What's ouch, honey? She's probably talking about her straps. Sometimes she says that they're too tight, but they're not. Because I ask her all the time, I'm like, is that too tight? And she's like, too tight, too tight. I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay. Because I always make sure I have 2 fingerless that could fit underneath her, so she's fine. But, yeah, we're almost done going to where we're going, and then we're going somewhere else. And, oh man, do I love this phone. I love this phone. It doesn't backspace. It works. I'm so happy. I bet you we could get there by this road, but I'm not going to take this road because I know the other road. Alright, well that's it for our update. This is what we are doing. I'm sorry that my videos are not on YouTube yet, and they're not organized. They'll eventually be on YouTube. I really like doing my channel, and I really like, expressing myself and my ideas and my theories on things. I think everyone should do this, because we did. We went from cave paintings to journals to, stuff like that, diaries. And now we have video cameras. We went from video cameras in our own personal space to public video cameras. I don't know about everyone else, but I had a lot videotaped from when I was a child. A lot of people did back then, with the big, heavy video cameras that stayed on people's shoulders. So I'm just gonna go. This person isn't going. So, and people weren't taking a minute clip. They were taking hours of footage. When they did it, why would they drag out something that big and heavy if they weren't gonna actually use it? So we have these awesome little phones that are in our hands, and we can take photos of anything and videos of anything and record anything that we want. So we might as well do it. So if we want to, and if not, then don't. I feel personally that you stand in your truth and you follow who you are, and that's the happiest you can be in this life, because this life is so short. It is so short. I mean, I am already 30 years old. My child is already a year old. I'm gonna die 30 years from now, probably. You know, maybe less. Maybe a lot less. I don't know. But I mean, I like the things that I do. And even if other people don't agree with me and they're like, oh, look at this crazy lady. Like, James is like, you know, I'm always like, well, you have to think outside the box. I told him that the other day. He's like, you're so far beyond the box. It's unbelievable. He's like, I see the social norms and I see you break them all the time. And I'm like, well, I wasn't raised to be inside the box. I was raised to follow my own little beating, like, you know, beating my own drum of my own essence, of my own self. I wasn't raised to be a mold to someone else. I was never told, you know, well, sometimes I was by my mother, but like my father was always like, oh, you gotta do your own thing, and this is what we're doing. I mean, he did so many unconventional things, it wasn't even funny. And I grew up around that, and I grew up absorbing that. And it's funny because when I talk to my sister, she's like, you sound just like your father. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yep, yes you do. And it's funny because I barely remember him. Like, I don't remember a lot because he died when I was 12, you know, I was little. And, you know, I don't remember everything. If I sit and actually think about it, I can remember more. But I mean, I don't know. I'm glad I'm doing videos because, I mean, my father's mother died when he was 15. My father died when I was 12. I might not make it past my child's 13th or 15th birthday or something, you know? There seems to be that trend in that side of the family that I tend to act and look and be so much like. You know, I'm a miser with money. I'm unconventional in a lot of ways. I do my own thing all the time. Like, you know, like, so if I don't make it, at least I have the videos, you know? And someone said that you could privatize your movies, like your home movies, and let other people watch them somehow. It's like, but I'm not going to give someone my email address and my passwords and stuff to, you know, use my YouTube. So, I mean, I don't know how that works. But, I don't know. Alright, anyway, that's it for my update. This is what we're doing. It's a beautiful day. And we are blessed because we are healthy, we are breathing, we are on our way. And, you know, it's a beautiful, beautiful life that we live in. So I'm glad that everyone's cherishing it and enjoying it, and just being a part of it is awesome. So that's it for my update. I hope everyone else is blessed as well.